Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the session for the cloud provider metering and compliance on the VCPP program. I hope you can hear me all right. Otherwise, I'm just looking foolish on the screen. So if you want to let me know, just write it in the chat. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Thijs Andersen Samsik, and I'm a technical business developer with Arrow ECS. I'm based out of Copenhagen, Denmark. And today, oh great, thank you for the confirmation. Today we are gonna dive a little deeper into the upcoming changes for the usage meter and go generally about the compliance about the VCPP in the VCPP program and get a little details on that. But before we get started with the program, a couple of quick announcements. This is more like a advertisement for the upcoming VMworld later this year. So please save the date on October 5 to 7, 2021. So we'll be having the online version of VMworld as we did in 2020. So you can already go ahead and book the date in your calendar and watch this for additional announcement later on. Also this year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an online version of the partner conference Empower. So no date has been announced yet, but watch communication and the website for additional information when that becomes available. So last announcement here is for an Msp webinar that we are running on Wednesday, so the day after tomorrow. It's also for every Arrow cloud provider, and we're going to go through the Msp portfolio that VMware is offering, what's in it, which product is available, what's the value, and how do you get started. And we're joined by the senior, lead cloud solution architect from VMware, Sebastian. That's going to take us through this whole and very extensive catalog of products. So, housekeeping generally. Please remain muted. We are a lot of participants on this call. This call is a little different than we are usually running. So this is not a webinar. You have a lot of controls available, so you can use the chat, you can unmute yourself. Again, you are here, so get the most out of your time. If you have any question, don't be shy, just ask them as we go along. I'll let you know if we're gonna pick up on questions later on, but ask them as we go along, and I'll make a note of them if I can't answer them directly. Also remain muted until you have a question, as it gets the best experience for everyone. And again, you know, people learn differently, so it's, you know, it's not a matter of if it's a stupid question, probably it's just not explained well enough. And again, just note that this presentation is being recorded though, so if you're not comfortable, you should chat instead. I'm joined today as well by some of my colleagues, so they would be able to answer some of the questions in the chat, and otherwise we'll just pick them up last in the presentation. All right. So the agenda, we have a lot of ground to cover, and I will say, just for starters, this is not a technical session, so we're not gonna go deep into. Actually, we're not going to go deep into anything in the technical sense. We are just, you know, getting you the information so that you are able to execute a successful upgrade of the usage meter and direct you to, you know, where you can find information and where the stuff is buried, because it's buried deep on some of the websites. So it's hard to know, you know, where actually to get the information. But we'll let you know. But please stay tuned, because a lot of important stuff is coming on during the presentation and at the end of the presentation. So everything is like really good to know. So just some good news to start up with, and then we are going to explain just briefly what is Flex Core for those of you who may not know what Flex is. Important stuff, as I said, that is the whole presentation. It's pretty important. And we're seeing on how you can do the research and getting the information. Then we're going to jump into upgrading the usage meter, program compliance. And then again, some of the cloud providers are being picked out for random audits. And how does that audit work and how do you pass it? And then we're going to follow up with Q&A if not all questions has been answered during the presentation. So not only good news, it's also great news actually, because in the invitation we actually wrote that the deadline would be end of March. That has been postponed, so that will actually be end of July. So this gives you some time to actually complete the task necessary before this date. And also, as noted here, you actually need to be ready 1 month before. So please don't push everything until the very last day of July, because that's simply not going to work. So your deadline should actually be end of June in order to be ready for that change. Okay, so why has it been pushed? So basically on the usage meter 4.3 that is currently in general availability right now, it's a feature parity with the 3.6.1 version. And as you see on the right hand side, you can see which products are actually being measured by usage meter. And it's not only on feature parity, it actually includes a lot of product that 3.6.1 did not include on the automatic reporting side, but it's still missing some crucial features and things. For example, the customer monthly report has been a feature that has been used by some cloud providers for internal billing purposes. So they were able to pull reports for each customer, each tenant, and see their usage. And that was something that's available in the old version of usage meter, but it's not available in 4.x, the whole entire 4 line, because that's been rewritten. So that is a key feature that's missing. The LDAP feature for centralized access, I don't know how many actually use that feature, but apparently some did, maybe some larger American providers, I don't know. But that's also mentioned as a missing feature. So pushing the date would actually allow for the next version of usage meter 4.4 to become general available, and that would include those 2 missing features. As we are told, it should be available within 1 or 2 months actually, but since the whole 4 version, or the version line of 4, is able to be in place upgraded, you don't have to wait actually until the very last day of the 4.4 release to actually upgrade from 3.6.1. You can go ahead and upgrade now to the 4.3 and then do an in-place upgrade, and that should be fairly easily completed. Also the bundles, and I will touch on that just when we go through the flex. The current bundle that are available now in the VCPP program has end of life on the same date as 3.6.1 is going end of general support. So that's why it's been pushed. So what exactly will happen at this date? So again, the bundles will disappear from the commerce portal, so you won't actually be able to see them. Right now, when you do the monthly reporting, you'll see it's going to actually list the bundle. So if you're using the advanced bundle or the standard bundle with management or networking or something like that, it will say that, and it will use that SKU in the reporting. But going forward, that would disappear. So basically, there will only be the Flex Core available there. And again, there's some technical differences on the free version of the usage meter and the 4.x version, and I'll touch on that briefly. But basically, the free version is only able to generate these bundle-based reports. It's not so intelligent. So that's also why, or that would also happen. And again, you must upgrade. So, and that's the whole purpose of this presentation. Just going to advertise here for the life cycle. matrix. So this is available, and this is not only for usage meter, this is available for all VMware products. So on the link here, and again, you will get this link to the presentation and the slides as well if you opted in on the registration of this webinar. We'll send that to you, and you can use all the hyperlinks in the presentation for easy access. But basically, this will list all the products that VMware have and when they are out of end of life, actually. So, or end of general support or something like that. Really useful tool if you want to do some planning. So definitely recommend you have to look there. And again, you can see here end of general support for usage meter 4.3. All right, so technical differences between the two versions. So in version 3, it's kind, the usage meter there is a purpose-built tool with all the intelligence present locally in the appliance. So something needs to be changed or updated or something, you would have to go ahead and update the usage meter. Also, it was written in such a manner that maybe they weren't like future proving when they actually did the design of this. So in-place upgrades was not available. You already know this because possibly you have a lot of usage meters laying around for the old versions, and you would have to keep the old versions for 3 years for documentation in your backup or whatever. But still, it's not difficult. It's not a task you have to do like every 14 days or anything like that. But still, it's a little annoying. It could be a lot easier. And that's what they did in the 4 version. So again, written from the ground up, and they moved all the intelligence out of the usage meter. So it's actually just, doing the API calls into the product, getting the data out, and then moving them to a cloud service that's actually, have all the intelligence. So everything, every time something needs to be changed, they can change it in the cloud, and just do the data processing up there. So it makes a lot more sense to have it this way, and should be a lot easier for everybody to actually maintain and upgrade and stuff like that. That being said, it's also a lot more hands-off than previous versions. So you do have some documentation that will specify how you can complete task at recovering some usage reports that's not been sent off or stuff like that. But generally, you need to have support involved in this appliance. So you really have to look at it not as a tool, but just like a reporting engine that you are not in control of anymore. So it just have to be there doing the counting, and then it's being sent off to VMware for processing. So that's the basic difference between the two versions. FlexCore. So this is a new thing that's going to replace the current bundle we have. And just looking at the bundles that are available today, if you have not already opted into the FlexCore, you'll see the bundles here on the right hand side, and those are in existence today. These are going to be phased out and will disappear following July 31st. From that day, we will transition to the FlexCore, and the FlexCore is like the base of the rental program, the VCPP rental program. So you'll have these products included here in the core version, and it's just it's the same as the bundles that are in existence today. It's just like one bundle. So there'll not be additional bundles. This would be the one, and you'll have all the products that are otherwise available. You can add them a la carte, so you can just pay as you go for each other product you might want to use in this program. So you're just adding them on. And again, I usually compare it with graphical packages where you only need one product, but you'll have to buy a whole suite of products to just get the one you want. I'm looking at the current bundle as that kind of deal, where this deal is just like, the groundwork, the base level, and you're just adding on when you need them, and you can pick and choose like you want to. So flexibility and choice for sure. And there's no additional cost to this. This is priced at 7 point. 7 point is the same as the cheapest bundle, current bundle. So nothing's going to change there, and still with adding some of the product that are not in the core bundle that was available in the other bundles, they would still be priced the same there. All right. So setting yourself up for success, and I think this speaks for everything, implementation of new products overall. So this is just a matter of finding the right information and going from there. I know this is a super crowded slide, but this is my toolbox that I'm using when I need to help you guys. So basically, this is the reference I use when getting information. And obviously, maybe I have a little more time on doing this because that's what I do. But I just collected them into one slide, the most important things here. So if we go from left to right, we start with the Partner Connect. This is the ground, the base for the whole program. This is your partnership with VMware that it will allow you to sign the rental contract and do transactions with VMware. So the most important stuff you find here, from my perspective, is the usage guide, the product usage guide, and we'll go into that just in a bit. We also have the product detection white paper and the program guide. And the program guide actually describes the whole partner program, but most people won't make it to the end of the document because it's super long. You should if you're a cloud provider, because the last part of the program guide actually describes the VCPP side of business. So this is here you actually find the addendum to the EULA, where it's described what you are allowed to do, the extensive rights you have in VCPP. It will also describe, you have the availability to do white labeling, so you can, do service brokering of your own services to other cloud providers or other partners. So a lot of important stuff there, and it's not changing, so often. So definitely recommend you just have a look at what's in there, and you'll know, okay, this is the place to find that information if you need it. Also, you have the performance dashboard. You have some pricing and partner university. All is things that is really nice to know. And you can access the NFR and internal use licenses from Partner Connect as well. Going over to Customer Connect, this was up until now, or it still is actually known as my.vmware.com, but rebranding and everything, it's called Customer Connect now. So if you see that word, it's my VMware. Here you'll find your VCPP licenses, and you will be able to manipulate them, so you can actually upgrade, downgrade, split, and merge the licenses in the My VMware portal. Make sure you do have the right access and the right permissions, because we very often see that some cloud providers are running with old keys, and when they need to upgrade, they already actually planned the upgrade, but the last thing that they didn't do was actually getting the keys. And then they found out, okay, I don't have access. So make sure your key staff has access to the VCPP licenses that are available in the My VMware portal. That's a very, very good thing to have. And you'll also find a link to the Customer Connect. And Customer Connect actually have some specific tracks for VCPP. So if your account is registered correctly, you'll have some VCPP training in there that you can use for internal training, or just knowing which services is available in the VCPP program. Going over to vcpp.cloud. This is super easy address. So just type that into the browser, and you'll go into a portal where you can see everything related to VCPP. And I'll show that in just a moment. And also it's a gateway for the cloud provider metering that we are discussing today. So Commerce Portal, Here you do your monthly reporting. You can add or request additional production licenses from the Commerce portal as well. And everything related to the VCPP program, that's the MSP as well, is collected in the Commerce portal. Lastly, cloud services, and that is more or less a new thing, but a lot of the software as a service are collected in here. You'll also find the usage inside portal as part of these services, and you have to request access to get to the usage inside portal, and we'll just touch on that in just a second. And again, feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. So, product usage guide. This is like the longest document ever. So, you know, needless to say, we can call it a cloud provider Bible. This describes everything in the VCPP program, the rental part of the program, that is. So this is all the products that are available. This is, you know, a general description on how we are calculating stuff, you know, specifics about, you know, manually reporting if something is not being able to be automatically metered. You'll have a description on how to meter that manually and the requirements for that for documentation and compliance purposes. So here we have an example for Network Insight, and this is just, you know, it's the same thing for every other product in there. So you will see the same description on every product. So basically just a description, how it's charged, what is the value of this, which component are included, and how you report it. So main information here when you need to plan to launch new services or stuff like that. So here you can see, for example, that the Network Insight Advanced is charged on standalone, so either per VM, or you can do like flex model pricing as well. So that is charged per gigabyte reserve RAM, like, you know, the normal bundles are. So this is like key information in there. And, you know, the good thing is it has a index at the top, and it's hyperlinked, so you can just click on the product and it will zoom you right down into that section of the guide. So super useful. It usually gets released like once every quarter, and it's a little delayed, I know, but you know. And how to find it? Go to the Partner Connect, and you know, a lot of times it's super hard to find anything, so use the search, product usage guide, click, boom, first link. If it's not the first link, probably your account does not have the right permissions. And if you need help to solve that, just reach out to us and we'll help you. Product detection guide. All right, so this is for the same product, and you might not know this guide. Actually, it's called a white paper, but anyway, this is like a description on how usage meter is looking at the products. So, you know, what is the logic behind usage meter and how is it seeing the products in here? And so if you really, you know, want to know, and on your planning on deploying new services, and you want to know specifically, okay, if I deploy this, will that charge for my entire environment, or will that only charge for per VM that I include in this? You know, the detection white paper will actually describe, you know, how usage meter is seeing this. So this is your guide to making sure that you are not, you know, installing or deploying something that will have, you know, a huge impact on your whole environment. So, you know, price-wise at least. So this is a really good reference guide or white paper to look up these metered products. And again, you just find the guide on Partner Connect, use the search, and you will write product detection. And as you can see, I cannot spell, but never mind, it's already suggesting the product detection. And again, boom, should be first link in there, and you have the white paper. This has been neglected for some time, but it's actually, now following the product usage guide, more or less, or actually it's following the usage meter releases, I should say. So a new usage meter update should trigger a new release of this white paper. So use that. It's super good, and it's not as heavy a document as the product usage guide, but both are really, tied together. VCPP.cloud, everything you need to know on VCPP. So, from which services are there and resources and events and stuff like that. But it also have a link to the metering. And here you have everything about metering. So download of the usage meter, references and stuff like that. So everything is collected in here. So remember that link. That's a key takeaway, I think, here, also for the upgrade as well. And speaking about the upgrade, so here is some considerations that you need to do when doing the upgrade of the usage meter. So you need to prepare for the upgrade for version 4.x. So if you haven't done it already, you should opt in for the Flex model. And you would do that in the Commerce portal, where you'll be, typically there'll be an X screen when you log in, and you just accept and opt into that program. Important to note here, when you opt in, you cannot opt out. Again, what happens if you don't? Well, then you're out of compliance. So you do need to opt in. There's really no getting around that. If you are a partner that don't report on, regular SKUs, and you have bundles or prices that are not otherwise available, you need to speak to us or speak to your VMware sales rep to know how you can migrate to the Flex program. And again, no changes for price as well. Second thing you need to do is sign up to the usage insight. This is an manual task. It actually, on the website, there's a form in the middle, and you just click that, and it's not really actually a form, it's just a mail to link, and it will pop up a new email, and you'll write in your partner name and partner ID and send it off, and somebody will create the account for you. So basically that's it. And you'll find all the hyperlinks here, as well as for the videos. The videos are also available on the former mentioned website, vcpp.cloud. And again, every time you deploy something, you should check that it's working together with the rest of the environment. You can check that at the link up here, so interoperability matrix. And here I'll just picked out vSphere vCenter. So basically, this top column is representing the vCenter versions, and you can see on the left-hand side the versions of usage meter and which goes together. So hopefully none will experience problems, but again, if you're running, for example, a 5.5 version, you'll run into problems, and you need to plan an upgrade of the environment in order to be, because it's out of support, be in support again, and also be able to run the new usage meter versions as well. And super important, again, read the documentation. It is not heavy. It is not long. It's actually like a couple of pages in there for the usage meter. If you do that, you're almost certain not to miss a step. It's not complicated at all. And I would say, again, since we're not diving into how to actually do the upgrade, you'll find the steps there, and they are very simple and easily executed. So again, going to the vcpp.cloud portal, you go to the services, cloud provider metering, and then you click the resources tab. And in here, you'll have a link directly to the documentation, blogs, walkthroughs, video guides. You can get the knowledge and the information you need in the form that you actually needed. It's so well described now, and it's collected on this page entirely. So, again, if you encounter any problems, we are here to help. but this is a place that you can find the resources. Specifically for upgrading from 3.6.1, or if you are deploying a new version of usage meter and not migrating the data. But generally, this is like when you deploy a new appliance for metering, you must do this. And I redacted some of the words here because it sounds optional in the documentation that if you want to kind of thing, but there's no doubt here you must. You have to run both the old appliance and the new appliance for one full period, and that's like a month. So this is both from a compliance point of view, but this is also for your security. So for you to be absolutely sure that the number that you're seeing from the old version of usage meter is the same as the one that you're getting from the new usage meter version. So maybe that is a configuration issue, maybe that's something not showing up, but these numbers should match both for a compliance issue and for your safety as well. So please, this is super important. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, you would need to, it's not necessary to suggest it, but you would need to, hit the exact cutoff date and time for the reporting month if you are not doing this. So that's really not an option. Run them in parallel, one full month. And that's what I mentioned in the beginning, be prepared 1 month before the date. All right. So just to summarize, read the documentation, snapshot the old appliance if you're doing an upgrade in place or something like that. Just again, backup, always a good thing, right? If you're upgrading to a new one, compare the configuration, make sure the configurations are correct, that you're linking to the right products, that being operations manager, the vCenter servers, whatever, make sure that is okay. Okay, make sure that the appliance can actually communicate with the internet, because that's kind of a requirement as well. And keep a backup of your old usage meters for 3 years. And we are seeing this from time to time. This is just like super important from a compliance standpoint as well. Check the configuration for, or just check for errors generally in the log. So after installation configuration, just check that it's not, reporting errors. Everything should check green. And that's also being checked in compliance as well. And again, keep them running in parallel for one full reporting month. Obviously, only report for one of the usage meters, not both, but just make sure that these numbers are the same. Okay, bringing me to program compliance. And again, just interrupt me if you have any questions. So a review, what is it, when is it, who is it for, and how is it done? So basically, we are checking that everything, or VMware is checking that everything is all right. This is based on trustless program. So it's based on that you are reporting correctly. And for them to check, they can actually only check, things that are tangible. And that is the reports from the usage meter. So, they're kind people. The compliance team, they are super friendly, easy to talk to, but they are put in the world for just one thing, and that's doing compliance checks. So, they will go deep into that if something is not checking out. So just be sure that, the reporting is accurate. Again, the checks is performed quarterly. We will have a handful typically of cloud providers that are being randomly selected or selected on the background that there has been abnormal usage reports, either high consumption or low consumption, something that triggered a flag, but most often it's just randomly selected cloud providers that are being picked, and everybody is going to have their turn. So it's just a matter of time. It'll be quarterly and again a handful. And what you have to do is return some of the usage files for the last couple of months and answer a few questions. And that is basically it. And if that checks out, boom, passed. And this is taken from the before mentioned guides as well. What is your responsibilities here? Again, since it's a license, it's kind of important to adhere to this. Making sure you're running a supported version of usage meter, validating that it's not throwing errors, it's configured correctly, reporting before the last day. I know there are some problems right now with this month's reporting, but other than that, report before the 5th of every month. Make sure that if some reports are delinquent or something like that, that they are closed. Make sure you have, non-metered products that are not automatically picked up by usage meter. Make sure that they are reported correctly, and keep the reports for 3 years. That's basically it. Okay. And again, for the compliance steps, this is to make sure that everything is reported correctly, and that you have the documentation to prove that. Respond to the questionnaire, and just respond to the query in general. And this is actually just summarizing, how you pass that audit. Again, respond. They are writing an email, loop us in. Usually we already are looped in on the email and the correspondence. If you have any questions, reach out to us for sure, and we'll help you. Make sure you use a supported version usage meter. Separate your environment. So basically, if you have a demonstration environment or Horizon environments, they need to be kept separate. For Horizon environments, you don't use the usage meter to monitor those or meter those environments. They have to be counted in a different way. So you are not, you must not use the usage meter to actually run on these, and therefore they should have separate host and a separate vCenter. So make sure you split that. For the demo environment, you are entitled, that is referenced in the program guide, you're entitled to a certain amount of demonstration capacity, and for that reason alone, you need to have that separated to demonstrate that you are in compliance with that. And again, don't alter the numbers. So if something is not right, you need to create a support ticket for that. And again, if you close a report and something is off, you can always come back within 90 days and adjust it. Just have to be valued above 500 euros for that report. If it's below that, you'll just add or subtract from the next month's report for that. But you need to have approval before doing any such stuff. All right. Make sure there's no errors. Keep the backup of the old usage meters, and keep the documentation. The documentation for non-metered products. So, for example, if the guide tells you to, report from a user interface, and that's just a number, you need to screenshot that. But that is explained in the product usage guide as well. But you need to keep that as a documentation, and also for 3 years. And again, we're here to help. So just reach out. Can't stress this enough. It has its own slide, right? Super, super, super important. You do not want to alter the numbers when reporting. You need approval for that. And I just, like last week, had another cloud provider that fell into this. That's the only thing that they actually can measure in the compliance check, because they're going to look at the report from the usage meter. They're going to look at the number you have reported. If these two numbers, for whatever reason, is not matching, you will have to provide additional information. And more often than not, you'll face some penalty for not reporting correctly. So it's just not, worth the time. Don't alter the numbers. If you need to adjust something, reach out to us. We'll help you. You need to create a support ticket with VMware to have them go into the usage meter and validate that, okay, maybe something was not set up correctly, but don't manipulate. Don't manipulate. It's really, the #1 cause for compliance issues. So how do you create a support ticket? Again, on the Customer Connect, My VMware, you just go into support. You want some technical support here. You go down. If you have the right permissions on this one, that is, if you can see the VCPP licenses and all that stuff, you have the right permissions. You should be able to find the usage meter in here. You can just click it. I don't know, for some reason, apparently the 4 version is not there, but anyway, usage meter is usage meter, just pick the one that's available. And you go down and describe, screenshot or whatever, what is the problem. A supporter will reach out to you, and possibly he'll need to log into the usage meter in order to do something or validate stuff or send missing reports or stuff like that. So this is how you create the ticket. But you will need that ticket number when being asked in a compliance check, why is this thing not matching up? Then you'll reference to the support ticket that has been created. So super, super, super important that you do that. And actually, that concludes this meeting for going through the metering and compliance. So feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question, or write in the chat if you have questions. I honestly don't believe maybe it was crystal clear, so hopefully you do have a question. But otherwise, I'll take it as a good information. No, does not seem to be the case. So again, let me just stress that we are here to help. So just reach out if you have any issues about the upgrade. But the most important key takeaway here is that you keep a backup, you keep them running in parallel with upgrading. And when reporting the usage consumption, make sure that you are following the guidelines in the product usage guide, and document everything along the way. So that is a key takeaway here. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And well, again, reach out if you have any questions.